Minneapolis, St. Paul, The Fan.
And that's a fact.
Shall we begin?
It's a beautiful morning. I think I'll go outside for a while and just smile.
Yes, it is time to be inside or outside or in your cars or rubes and cubes and smile, because this beautiful morning, known as the 9 to noon presentation and the Love Covenant, is here with you from Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center. It's TCOPC. Yeah, you know we. Paul Allen, Nordo by my side. Brett Blakemore guides the great ship Love Covenant from the 651 Carpets Plus Studios at FM 100.3 KFAN. Good morning. TCOPC, Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center. It's our Wednesday Wonderland. These TCO studios, our Wednesday conduit to warmth and wonderment. And the wonderment into this week involves the murky nature of the National Football Conference. It's the wonderment of the murky leading into this week in the National Football League, where those in fine fettle include the Philadelphia Eagles, the Detroit Lions, and the San Francisco 49ers. For said trio, all are 5-1. Dallas is an enigmatic 4-2. Dallas, an enigmatic 4-2. Then the Merc, the time and place where there's little light and less margin for error. The murk of it all, and that's where we are. But see, we're underneath the darkness, which means we are probably in something called outer darkness, as the National Football League would go. But the murk, the time and place with little light and less margin for error, would include the 3-3 covenant. And those teams are Washington, Atlanta, New Orleans, and the LA Rams. And we hooked 2 of them before Thanksgiving. So see, this 2-4, it ain't great, but it ain't the worst 2-4 in the history of 2-4s ever to 2-4. I mean, we're outside the darkness, which means we are in uncharted territory. But nevertheless, we play 2 of those squads, Atlanta and New Orleans, hook both those teams before Thanksgiving, beat them, and who knows what happens to the muddle of the murk in which we reside at this palatial purple paradise known as Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center. I mean, amazingly, for the Minnesota Vikings, through all the drops and Josh Palmer's and Justin Watson's and the shabby take give, we absolutely are right there to become the wildest of all the wild cards. Now, we're 0-3 at home, and that's bad for business. We're 0-3 at home, and that's bad for business on many levels, because that means the ticket-buying Rube Nation, King of the Rubes, Jimmy K, and those of his variety, they haven't seen a victory at the palatial purple paradise known as U.S. Bank Stadium in almost 10 months. We're 0-3 at home. That's bad for business on many levels. But if you beat the San Francisco 49ers on Monday Night Football, we can turn the metaphorical frown upside down and start cutting into the darkness with the light that is that of purple and gold, and the light taking us from the murk, ascending through the standings and passing Atlanta and passing New Orleans and whooping ass on Blakemore's team at Lambeau and surging into the second half of the season. Does that sound pragmatic? And good morning.
Good morning. It does sound reasonable, realistic, and possible, certainly.
Yes.
And the big part of it, with the Niners on the horizon, 0-3 at home, if the Vikings are able to find a victory on Monday night, I'm curious as to how that wind of change, that breeze that is hurricane-like, how that sweeps through the fan base in terms of changing their perspective on what this team is that they're rooting for. But in the same vein of conversations that go on about the quarterback set to become a free agent and how tough it might be to find a guy that can produce the way that Kirk Cousins mostly has over the course of his career. One of the biggest factors that plays into this super muddy and nasty and grimy and frankly somewhat average NFC.
Yeah, it's murky.
Is the quarterback play. It's Baker in Tampa. It is Sam Howell, maybe on the come, but still very inexperienced and mistake-prone in Washington. It's Desmond Ridder in Atlanta. It is Derek Carr, who has not had a good run thus far through 6 games with the Saints. And just, even jumping down into our territory, the 2-3 Packers with Jordan Love, that's off to an awful start.
Yeah, take that, Blake Moore.
So in this muddy NFC, something that can propel us forward that needs to will continue to, I think, surround quarterback play, getting better play from our guy, and getting better play across the board from a ball security, fundamental execution of the offense vibe as well. But it is so muddy in the NFC right now, and some very, very average teams are sitting there, and it's up to our team now to leapfrog them, which I think is very reasonable, very possible, and needs to be done.
And the mantra into Monday, starting right here, right now. Everybody ready? 2 in a row for Kevin O. 2 in a row for Kevin O. Stop. You like KO or Kevin O better?
I prefer KO.
All right, 3-2. 2 in a row for KO. 2 in a row for KO. 2 in a row for KO. Hey! By the way, Covenant collapse for Marc-Andre Fleury. His squad closed on Montreal last night with a dub, and here's how the final call sounded.
And that will do it. The Minnesota Wild get a win here. 5-2 the final. Canadians tried to score at the buzzer, but the green light was on. The Hornets sounded. And Marc-Andre Fleury, in what might be his final game here in Montreal, he was spectacular. And he has moved now within 6 wins of Patrick Roy for the second most all-time in NHL history. It's a special team steal the story here tonight for the Wild. They win it 5-2.
Yeah.
Covenant collapse, Marc-Andre Fleury.
Yes, indeed.
Stonewall Les Habitants, the Habs, the Le Bleu Bon Rouge, went up Montreal way, where he's from. 90 kilometers would be how many miles? Who cares? Let's say it's 75 miles. So he grew up in the neighborhood or in the vicinity of Montreal. He went back to Montreal. Original 6 immortality, Guy Lafleur immortality, Jacques Plante immortality, Larry Robinson, Larry immortality, and it may be his final game ever playing at like his favorite arena against his favorite team.
Yeah.
So Covenant collapse for HOF cred, Cincha, HOF, the Flower, Marc-Andre Fleury, and Joe O'Donnell and Tom Reed had that call on KFAN last night. Family and friends in attendance for Marc-Andre Fleury, and what a wonderful situation. Now, in closing for the 9 to noon segment, I have felt all week, and I can't exactly explain why, because I don't follow college football super closely. And, when it comes to having enough predictive analysis or wherewithal to satisfy the snobs like the techie, I don't have that. All right. However, if the gift of discernment has been given to yours truly, I am asking that it be accurate with this, because I have felt all week when the ugly night, all right, 3-2. I have felt all week when the ugly lights are illuminated Saturday, the Golden Gophers football team is going to be leaving with the pig. Oh! I can't exactly explain why I feel it, but here's why I think I feel it. All right. So PJ's like their defense when he was with 9 to noon Mondays with 9 to noon every Monday. Sky Mom. He was talking about the formidable wherewithal with the predictive analysis that even pleases the snobs of the members of the Iowa defense. And I'm thinking to myself, cool. All right, well, I haven't watched them. I can't name a player on that defense since Abdul Hodge and Chad Greenway and Bob Sanders. However, I'll bet everything I have, it ain't as good as that Michigan defense that I saw. I mean, that thing was unbelievably beastly, and we were kind of close long enough to think there's a chance when the ugly lights are illuminated Saturday, we will be leaving with the great big fat pig. You see, Iowa's quarterback just won a football game with a yards per attempt of 2.4. Now, I mean, that's as ridiculous gets. Getting the money and your quarterback has a yards per attempt of 2.4. And by the way, your Hawkeyes on offense, they're 26% on third down. And we're off a bye. So we've had extra time to scheme for the pig. I don't know, is it Northern Fire? How do you say it? Northern Fire what?
Northern Fire Grilling and Barbecue Supply.
Is it Traeger? Is it the pellets? I don't care what that fat pig goes on. It's about ready to get scorched with flames that are in the guise of maroon and gold because a 26% offensive third down is not supposed to win a lot of games. I got no idea what ours is. If it's worse, I apologize for the entire thing. But I feel like we're going to leave with the pig this weekend. Can I get a witness? And thank you very much for listening to 9 to Noon, where what's on deck is courtesy of TimberTech and TimberTech.com. It includes Minnesota Vikings tight ends coach Brian Angelichio around the corner, followed by Mike Florio, followed by Timberwolves head coach Chris Finch. At about 10:03, Vikes Bites after that. Elite 49ers Vox Greg Papa. He and his radio partner Tim Ryan, they're the ones that created 2, 3. Ayuk is on fire. Then our new main man, Ahmad Hicks from Fox 9, he's going to be here at 11 o'clock. We're going to have a good time. He's Nordo. I'm Paul Allen. Brett Blakemore has the cash thing. Good morning, everybody. What up?
Beautiful.
Got that cash thing.
Oh, I got that cash thing. Don't you worry. The Fan and 2 men in a junk truck want to get you a shot at $1,000 for a national cash contest. Head to KFAN.com. Enter the keyword bills. That is bills for your shot at $1,000. KFAN.com/bills.
The Fan.
If you want to chime in on what's happening with your favorite KFAN shows, you can make your voice heard on the Bradshaw and Bryant KFAN text line. Just let us know what you have to say by texting your message to 64686. That's 64686. And our text message data rate supply.
Brian Angelichio, one of our very favorites in the old school covenant. He's the tight ends coach for the Minnesota Vikings. And welcome back to the 9 to Noon presentation. We hook the rough and tumble San Francisco 49ers for Monday Night Football. And good morning, Mr. Angelichio. How are things for you?
Doing well, Paul. How you doing?
Pretty well, thank you. Hawkinson, that double move he put on Brisker, the first possession was a thing of beauty. Now, he didn't get the look, but like a double move like that, is that something at which TJ naturally is quite fluid, the art of the double move? And I'm assuming you remember exactly the play I'm talking about.
Yeah, he does a good job with that, and certainly they're designed to set up routes that you previously run and try to get them to overplay it and take advantage of their aggressiveness.
Mm-hmm. When it comes to the art of setting up a double move, how shifty do you have to be in the early stages of it? Then boom, there you go, and you got 9 trying to grab onto you.
Yeah, you just you got to have some change of direction ability and to be able to get in and out of the cut, and TJ does a good job with that.
Mm-hmm. Quite fast. Is Josh Oliver eating humanity for lunch because he's so big, fast, and physical? Josh Oliver.
Yeah, Josh is certainly a throwback kind of guy. He doesn't mind mixing it up in there and doing the dirty work, and that's kind of why he's there and what he needs to do to help us get the edge.
Okay, so we have a couple of prominent Minnesota Vikings players and/or tight ends we have addressed in quasi-cursory fashion for the fan base listening right now, because now I'd like to play a game with you if you don't mind. And here's the game, and here's the origin of the game. And Carly Bonk, media relations conduit, was, I could tell, just a little pensive and nervous last night when we were texting, setting this up, saying, I'd like to play a game. She's wondering, what does the cartoon character announcer have up his sleeve now? I think it's something that you will enjoy. You see, your boss or the head coach of the team, Kevin O'Connell, in a couple of conversations I've had with him about players from days gone by. Can't remember what triggered it. Took place a couple of weeks ago. Might have been the week up to the Bears. And I'm like, Walter Payton. He's like Refrigerator Perry. And I'm like, oh, okay, Matsui. And then he said, you should play that game with Angelichio. Because when it comes to old school NFL or Major League Baseball players, he's about as tough as it gets. And, I've learned to not say bet around a football facility. So I said, bet. I mean, yeah, next time I see him, maybe we can mix it up a little bit like that. So, are you interested in it'd be you and I going back and forth, and it's a historical recall game, NFL, Major League Baseball, players from days gone by. And like, I think the only qualifier we would have here is like they can't be playing in in either of the leagues now. You know what I mean?
Sure.
So like, say one of our two friends here, either Bonk or Nordquist, are like, Washington can be Commanders, WFT, or Redskins. We can't go Cousins. You know what I'm saying? So,
sure.
Are you in?
Yeah, let's give it a go.
Okay, okay, that sounds cool. So. We'll go back and forth, and you're the guest, so we will let you go first. Carly, any team from the NFL now or then, or Major League Baseball now or then, and then Eric will do the other league. Top of the head, any team.
Pick a team.
Pick a team. Who? Steelers or Pirates? Steelers.
All right,
okay,
Steelers.
Old schools. Okay.
Shake those shoulders out a little bit.
Okay, you think that Hawkinson
Carly's
double
from
move was good?
So.
Wait till you get a load of this verbal double move I'm about to put on Jaquan Brisker. Okay, did you say Steelers or Pirates? Steelers, go. Go, you're first.
What do I
here we go. Mike Webster.
Name a former player.
Oh,
Yeah.
Mike Webster, center.
No, we go back and forth. So you name another player, old school Steeler, and we go until we've exhausted all options.
Franco Harris.
Terry Bradshaw. Yes.
Mean Joe Green.
Lynn Swan.
Okay, good one there.
Thank
Lynn
you.
Swan. Greg Lloyd.
Mel Blunt.
Okay. Oh man, now I'm drawing a blank.
Wow, we got you nervous.
3.
Don't tell KOC you got nervous.
Stevenson.
Oh yeah.
Center. Yeah.
Okay. How about Bam Morris?
All right. Oh man, Mel Blunt.
Okay. Rod Woodson.
Kevin Green.
LC Greenwood. Hey.
That was a good one.
Thank you.
Damn, I'm forgetting the other receiver was Swan.
KOC with bad intel. Right.
Oh man.
2. Nordo be the clock.
1.
Yeah. Man, I drew.
Wait, well, this is bad for business for the guest to come in and lose. I thought you were going to be an absolute cinch to beat me in this game.
Yeah. Who's the receiver?
Stallworth.
John Stallworth.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Now, in fairness,
God, I forgot Heath.
Well,
Heath
but
Miller.
I mean, you got this. Where's the game calling depth chart? You got what's my man on the back end with the long hair? Hanafoa, or how do you say his name? Hufanga. Yeah. So, I mean, you're all wrapped up in Hufanga and Dre Greenlaw and Fred Warner, Bosa on drops when everybody thinks he's. I mean, yeah. So we know where your mind is right now.
Forgot Hargrave.
But and Javon Hargrave, right? Just another high end 3 technique you catch. Okay, let's do it one more time. Let's do baseball. Okay.
All right.
Nordo, any baseball team, do you hate the game?
No, it's a good
Are
game.
you a hardcore Mets fan?
I am.
Okay, so the team that you hate the most would be the Philadelphia Phillies?
I thought you were going to say, are you a hardcore Mets fan? Okay, cool. Let's do the Angels.
The Braves.
Oh, okay. So I mean, O'Connell, who's super smart, he's super sharp.
Yes, he is.
And when it comes to the red zone plays and everything I learned about the collaborative nature of the offense inside the red area and the savant that you can be with certain offensive things, we know that your mind is completely wrapped up in the red zone and with the tight ends and Greenlaw and Hufanga right now. So therefore, maybe I have to name two to your every one because your mind is focused on a game. Okay, so you don't hate the game?
No, it's a good game.
Okay, cool. So baseball team, what is it?
Well, let's do former Braves.
Braves? Okay.
A team you loathe. Think about all those guys you hated. Maybe in the 90s.
Who's your
Dale Murphy.
Or your all-time favorite baseball team, and I'll just try to jump in your wheelhouse.
No, I mean, we could do the Braves.
Dale Murphy? Claudell Washington.
Bruce Benedict.
Gene Garber.
Tom Glavine.
Hey, well, let's just run through them. Steve Avery.
Greg Maddux.
John Smoltz.
Let's go Terry Porter.
Oh, that's a good one. Hey. Oh, wow. Holy cow. Hank Aaron.
Hammer and Hank.
Yeah. Holy cow. Miss Angelichio and my son.
Three.
Steve Avery.
Oh, okay. Bobby Cox.
Managers count?
I don't know. All right, you beat me. Next time we get together, we're going to settle the tie, okay?
You got it.
But just to make sure relations are good, sidelines at practices or games or everything, you didn't hate the game.
No, it was good. It was
Surprised Coach Prime didn't come up.
It was a good game.
Oh, wow.
Man.
Holy cow.
Yeah.
Otis Nixon
and
Griff.
That's a really good one. Speaking of Coach Prime, we had some baseball and we had some football in the mix, and like Bo Jackson, same thing. So I don't know how closely you follow college football, but there's this cat for the Colorado Buffaloes, Travis Hunter, who you're familiar, right?
Yeah.
Offense and defense. My daughter goes to school there, and like 2 weeks before the season, or 2 weeks before school started, I'm out there with her, getting her set up in her student living and walking around Boulder a little bit. And there were three, guys who played for the Colorado football team that I'd never met. And I'm like, hey, what's going on? Pat Shermer, old friend of mine's out there. He's working analysis or something like that. So we were chatting a little bit, and the one kid was like, I'm Travis Hunter. And I had no idea who he was. So then I'm watching week 1 against TCU. I'm like, hey, playing both ways every play. That I think that the last one I can remember in the NFL to maybe do that was with Washington, a guy named Lorenzo Alexander. Remember Lorenzo Alexander played defensive line, like unbalanced offensive lineman, special teams demon. I mean, that's just like why doesn't that happen anymore in the NFL?
Yeah, I think what's incredible is his body, the wear and tear on his body, the amount of snaps he's playing. And then, on NFL, I think situationally, guys will throw guys in on a play in a specific area, but I think the mental aspect to really immerse yourself, understanding the game plan on both sides of the ball, which is incredible what he's doing.
This 49ers defense, would you qualify it overall as the best defense you guys have seen this year?
Yeah, I mean, statistically they are, they play hard. They run to the football. Their front, you got to control their front. It starts up front for them, and trying to control the line of scrimmage, and certainly that'll be a great test for us.
Last one, you guys, you guys hooked Joey a week 2 or week 3, and now you get his brother Nick Bosa. Like, how are they different? I'm not going to ask you which one's better and why, but how are they different?
Certainly both great players. I think Nick is just, he's always going forward. Like, he can get on an edge, and the way he can bend and always attacking the line of scrimmage. Like, he's never going sideways. He is, he's just got a great ability to be able to do that.
Anytime you need a respite or a break from the monotony or the rigmarole or the grind on which you coaches go during the course of a week, we're here every single Wednesday. If you want to stop by and do NBA, Major League Baseball, hockey, NFL, or whatever.
We got to have a rematch on that game when I got a little
the competitiveness has come out now.
Yeah.
Yes, he didn't know what it was.
And I forgot Merrill Hodge.
Well, that's okay. I also said Steve Avery, and then you said it, but you're the guest.
We repeated that. Okay.
We didn't want to put you on that or anything. I mean, now for 4-2, I would have put you on it. So
yeah.
We're going to wait to beat the Niners, and then after that, go to Lambeau and win, and maybe we'll do it again, and we'll start with Mets, and then move into St. Louis Cardinals, and I'll begin with Conrad Dobler. Okay.
Yeah, George Hendrick.
There we go.
Ozzie Smith.
Yeah. See, Carly, I told you no reason to be nervous. Brian, thank you very much. He's Brian Angelichio. Thank you, Carly Bonk. And 9 to noon continues around the corner with Mike Florio from ProFootballTalk.com. But first, assistant head coach and outside linebackers coach Mike Pettin and the Pettin Report.
Time now for the Vikings Report on FAN, presented by the Minnesota Lottery. Play the new Vikings scratch game for a chance to win up to $100,000. Vikings assistant coach Mike Pettin joins PA after this from KFAN, the Fan.
Father of mine, tell me where have you been? You know I just close my eyes, my whole world disappeared. Father of mine, take me back to the day, yeah, when I was still your golden boy, back before you went away. I remember blue.
Here he comes, surging on the metaphorical verbal outside. His name is Mike Florio with ProFootballTalk.com, part of the Football Night in America crew for NBC. Now the Minnesota Vikings play on Monday Night Football, but this analyst, Mike Florio, also an author of a book called Father of Mine. It's available. If you start at ProFootballTalk.com, it's a good place to do it. Also, as Playmakers, a book he's written before. There's a Christmas piece that he dropped on the website last year, and that's also part of the equation. And Christmas is on the horizon, so we would like you to consider at least looking into that, because Mike has just been so kind to 9 to noon for so long, and he joins us right now. Good morning, Mr. Florio.
And since we're on the topic, let me add this. On Our Way Home is the Christmas book. It comes out November 1, $3.99 for the ebook, $9.99 for the paperback. And every penny I make is going to the Humane Society of Harrison County, where we live here, a no-kill shelter that takes care of all the cats and dogs looking for new homes. I don't care about the cats. They're just part of the package. The dogs are what I love. I still believe a cat would kill you and eat you if it could. Dog, I'm a dog guy. Through and through. So anyway, every penny I make is going to that, and I'm paying the taxes on it too. I talked to my accountant about how to work this out. I don't itemize deductions, the whole thing. So up to the first $10,000, if we're fortunate enough to generate that much, I'm handing it all over, and I'll separately pay the taxes on it. So you're costing me money by buying On Our Way Home. I just want to get the story out there. I believe in it. It's one of those things where the planets lined up for me. December of 2021, I sat down, wrote it in a month. I love it. Hopefully you'll read it and love it. And, Paul, you haven't read it. I would send you a copy of it, but I know you won't read it, so I'm not going to waste my time or yours.
Covenant collapse for PFT for the giving and the philanthropic approach to the Humane Society.
And the tax paying.
Hey, we got to do that before I tease him. You like dogs more than cats because you're inherently codependent.
I like something, an organism, living in my home that would not kill me and eat me if it had the chance. And I firmly believe that a cat will, if it could, kill you and eat you, just like a spider. If a spider was big enough, it would kill you and eat you. I don't want spiders in my house. I don't want cats in my house because they would kill me and eat me if they could. Also, I'm allergic. I might feel differently if I wasn't allergic, but that's part of the plan to try to kill me. To make me have an allergic reaction that causes me to die so the cat can then eat me. I really do believe that that's part of their biological makeup. They infect people with their dander in the hopes that they'll have an allergic reaction and die, and then they can eat you.
The dander bit sucks. All right, I have 2 cats and a King Charles Cavalier. The dander bit sucks. It pops up about twice a year, and even for yours truly, yes, it does get to my eyes and the sniffles and stuff like that. But think about this for a second, Mr. Florio. So say you and your wife do that Myrtle Beach trip, or you go wherever you go and you're gone for like more than a day. Well, think about Macy, your little baby Macy. You can be gone for an hour or a day, and her world is ruined. I mean, she's just going to lay there so sad and downtrodden. Meanwhile, if you got baby kitties, you leave, and they just like chill and walk around and just wait, and they don't have their whole world shattered. You understand what I'm saying?
But they don't care if you're there or not there.
And I
If
like
anything,
that.
They're happy while they're gone because they have a chance to plot how they're going to try to kill you when you get home. That's why they're happy.
That's brilliant.
They need some time to think.
You're brilliant. All right. I can't, and I think I hit on this with you a couple of weeks ago, but it just keeps happening, Michael. I can't remember so many zany scenarios. At like now we're 6 games into the thing. So like of late, San Francisco loses a game started by PJ Walker, and the Giants are 15-point dogs, and they lose because of a bad call back center in the end zone. I mean, it's every single week. It's as crazy as I've ever seen it. And good morning.
Yeah, any given Sunday or Monday or Thursday or Friday or Saturday or whatever day of the week they play these games, one team can beat another or at least make it respectable, interesting. There's all sorts of factors that go into it. And look, the Browns are a team that if they could just develop some consistency, they could be one of the better teams in the NFL because their defense is doing things that are historic. 1,002 yards allowed through 5 games. That is the lowest since the 71 Colts. Third all-time through 5 games behind the 71 Colts and the 70 Purple People Eaters. Back in those days, it was a lot harder to move the football than it is today. The idea that the Browns are averaging just over 200 yards allowed per game is amazing. So the 49ers stepped on that rake near Lake Erie last week. I don't think that bodes well for the Vikings because you're going to get fully focused and fully motivated primetime 49ers on Monday night. But, yeah, you never know what's going to happen. And every time you think you have it figured out, you know, I always try to remember to point out that the midpoint of the season or thereabouts, 5-6 weeks in, it's correction Sunday. And that's what we saw this past week. 49ers lose, Eagles lose, no unbeaten teams.
Yeah.
Even though we've got a clear spread between the best and the worst and a nice clot of teams in the middle, at the top, there really is no presumed best team that is unbeatable. I thought the 49ers were in that category, and they're not, which is good for the sport.
Well, it's. I mean, you're breaking news as you are wont to do, and there's actually something at ProFootballTalk.com right now, and maybe I should have known this. Specifically, sitting down with the head coach yesterday for a 15-minute weekly interview. But this is great. Marcus Davenport going to injured reserve. The Vikings won't have pass rusher Marcus Davenport for at least the next 4 games this morning, and we're at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center. Damn, man. High ankle sprain, 4 games. JJ, 4 games. You know, the good news, though, Mike, is yesterday was a Tuesday, and I'm here every Tuesday, and I think I saw Kirk Cousins' conversion van actually drive by the facility, I think heading to a park with his family. So maybe that's heading the right way.
Why are you bringing this up every single week? You bring it up, I engage, and then I get ripped. Not that I care.
You.
I mean, I've been doing this for 14 years, and part of the bit is to stir things up. People don't realize that. It's part of the bit. There's a pro wrestling quality to all of this. We're trying to get people excited. We're trying to get people engaged. Every once in a while, I got to do the heel turn to do that. So I'm not going to take the bait this time,
Thank you.
Paul Allen. I'm not going to fall into your trap. You would kill me and eat me if you could.
Well, in that metaphorical scenario or symbolic scenario, I'd like to be Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. Who would you like to be?
I was always partial, and this guy was as middle of the road, boring as it gets, but my first favorite wrestler was Bob Backlund. Wasn't he from Minnesota?
Yeah, I think he
had
was.
That just
red
very
hair.
meat and potatoes, basic, nothing all that flashy about him. And then came Jimmy the Superfly Snuka, when he would climb up to the top rope and he'd throw his hands up in the air with the perennial love sign, the Gene Simmons 2 fingers out, and then he would dive onto an unsuspecting person who was ready to get pinned. So,
do you happen to remember SD Special Delivery Jones?
Oh, absolutely. Special Delivery Jones. I was into it in the 70s and 80s.
Oh, so was I.
I was into it back when it truly was studio wrestling. People hear that term studio wrestling, like, what's that? Well, they used to do it in a TV studio with like 2 rows of seats around the ring. They used to film it in a TV studio. It became ridiculously popular. There's a great series on Netflix called Wrestlers that focuses on Ohio Valley Wrestling, which used to be a feeder to WWE and is trying to just survive at this point. It's kind of depressing as it goes from fair to fair, and there's hardly anybody watching the matches, but it's really well done. It's a guy who's done other things for Netflix, other sports documentaries like Last Chance U. Really well done. Highly recommend it. And a look inside, just the physical toll and the love and the passion that the people in the sport have for it, because at OVW they ain't making money, but they're still doing it because they love doing it. It's a very well done thing, and you just made me think of it talking about pro wrestling. I'm the one that brought up pro wrestling. Maybe I'm thinking about it because I just watched that.
And we are close to the same age. So like when I was growing up in Washington D.C. or right outside of it, the Capitol Center where the Bullets and or Capitals used to play, well, that's where FedEx Field is now in Landover, Maryland. So there, it was like, my single mom bringing me and Lucius Tisdale and Miles Spires and Eric Wainwright what did the Bradys used to drive, that kind of car? What was it called?
Station wagon?
Station wagon, thank you. In the cream station wagon, we stop at Landover Mall. We would play that football roll game with the X's and O's where you would pinch your finger or your hands, remember?
No.
The video game where you roll it, you get like the O or the X to the outside, then you got to start rolling it fast. It's
the scroll, you mean?
Yeah,
the Mattel football game.
Thank you. And then we'd go to Capitol Center and for wrestling events with Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream, Iron Sheik Shake, or then into, like you said, Backlund, Gorilla Monsoon, George the Animal Steel, Dusty Rhodes, the American Dream. It was packed. I mean, it was like the thing to do in the late 70s, early 80s. You got to remember those days.
We had an arena open in the town where I grew up that held about, 7,000-8,000 people. And it became a stop on what was WWF at the time, the World Wrestling Federation. And my dad would take me to those. He'd take me to boxing matches, and he'd take me to wrestling. And I really didn't care about the boxing he did. He didn't care about the wrestling I did. And he would constantly try to tell me it was fake. And I didn't care. Like, we all kind of instinctively knew that when grown men fight, and when they punch each other, number one, they follow through, and number two, they don't stomp their foot on the ground to simulate the sound of the fist striking flesh. Like, we just knew that's not really how people fight. Now, look, it still is very physical, and they do kick and hit and throw off ropes and elbow, and they know it's coming, and I think it's got to be very difficult to know it's coming and still run right into it. But guys and gals get hurt, they get banged up, and they love it. They live for that. They love it because the fans react the way they do, and it really is compelling. And that's what was great. When they finally admitted it was all fake, nobody cared.
Right.
Because we all knew, but you still get fired up by the storylines and the drama, and who cares if it's scripted? It's still, at times, a very exciting thing to watch.
Young Alexander, your son, is he doing well these days?
Yes. Thank you for asking.
Yeah, the reason I ask is because he's such a big football.
Is this just a phone call? Did you just call me, or are we on the air? Are we just talking? I don't know. Sometimes I can't tell. Is this your show, or are we just shooting the breeze? Because I'll start cursing if we're just shooting the breeze.
Ass. It's my it's the Bluetooth in my new Ford Edge from Metropolitan Ford. Now hold on. I ask because you and Alex are such big football fans. I'm wondering. This is also a question request from a dear friend of mine, Johnny the Mouse Mickelson, captain of the '83 Wayzata Club hockey team, very formidable. Wants to know how many Shepherd University games you went to follow the career of Tyson Bagent. Because like when he came into the game this weekend, I said his name wrong on a touchdown because I didn't know who he was. And then it's like I felt O'Connell and the staff and myself and Bursich, we're going through like Wikipedia and preseason games to figure out what Shepherd University is, but it's in your state, West Virginia. You ever go to any games?
Well, I live in one of the most geographically complicated states in the nation. If you've seen the outline of West Virginia, you could drive 7 hours to get from one point of the state to the other point of the state, in part also, too, because there's only so many miles of divided four-lane highway, and you've got to hit the back roads at some point, which slows everything down. But Shepherd University is about 3.5 hours from here. I mean, I could get to Pittsburgh and home by the time I could get to Shepherd. I could get to Columbus, Ohio by the time I could get to Shepherd, actually sooner than by the time I get to Shepherd. So, no, my son and I did not go to any Shepherd University games, and it was a neat story during training camp when I kept noticing that this kid from Shepherd, who actually grew up in Martinsburg, West Virginia, close to where Shepherd University is, and went to school there and did well for himself, and the Bears love him, and he's climbing the depth chart, and he had a chance on Sunday. I thought it was going to happen. I thought it was going to be a Brett Favre, Don Mikowski thing, where Bajent comes in, saves the day, opens the door for himself to kind of take over and nudge Justin Fields out of town. He had that chance until that late pick. And I don't know, did his arm get hit? He didn't just underthrow that ball. His arm got hit or something on that throw. But I thought they were going to drive down and win the game.
I'm not sure if his arm got hit on the Byron Murphy Jr. interception, but that was it. And we go to 2-4. And lastly,
how are you not sure you were there? You were calling the game. Were you not calling the game? Was somebody else doing it?
Bursic handled that play. Lieber was the analyst, and my prostate was going the wrong way. So I was at the urinal. Lastly,
you tap out during the games. Scott Hansen sits there for 7 hours and doesn't pee once unless he's got a bottle under that desk. You're telling me you tap out, fourth quarter game on the line, and run down to the men's room? He's going
to be 57 years of age one day, too. And when I fail to wear navy blue or black pants, got to be very cognizant.
Did we talk at all about the fact that I had a kidney stone? Were you even aware of that? Did we talk about that last week?
I don't know. But what I know we didn't, and I only got a minute, okay?
Listen, you don't want a kidney stone. Not that there's anything you can do to stop it. My God, it's the worst possible thing you could have. Go.
Damn, you went from COVID to kidney stone?
Yes.
Good Lord. Man,
I've been dreading what the next leg of the trifecta is, frankly. COVID, kidney stone, corpse, I hope is not how it goes.
COVID, kidney stone, wife comes home with a kitty.
I saw a cat hanging around outside. Maybe that's where I'm headed.
I love you. Okay, hold on. Reports are Vikings general manager Kwesi Adofo-Mensah attended USC and Notre Dame. What do you think about that, Michael?
Well, it's not like there's only one guy that you would be scouting, but you've got a quarterback who's not under contract beyond this year. Of course you're going to be looking at all your options before you make any decisions. I mean, it's not out of the question that they work out a new deal to bring back Kirk, but he's got a one-way ticket to the open market. If they're going to bring him back, it's going to be in competition with any other team out there that might be interested in him, so they got to be ready to pivot to someone else. They got to sign somebody like a Gardner Minshew to hold down the fort while they wait to see what happens in the draft, and then by all indications and appearances, and my long belief has been they are ready to get a franchise quarterback, a 10 to 15-year guy, a Fran Tarkenton that they haven't had in plus 40 years, and the only way you do that is at or near the top of the draft.
I'm looking at Caleb Williams' Wikipedia page now. Wow, his favorite day of the week is Tuesday. Wow.
Yeah.
All right. So anyway, have a wonderful day. And profootballtalk.com to learn more about the books and the best football website.
I ain't saying another word.
History of the universe. All right. See you, buddy.
Bye.
Chris Finch, coach of the Minnesota Timberwolves, joins 9 to noon around the corner. We are at Twin Cities Orthopedics Performance Center on FM 100.3.